Alright, let's see. No artillery. You can go either way. I typically like going to this north area here. You don't need to push out over there, but you can hang out over here and you actually get pretty good shots if they try to poke up over there, and if they're exposed over there. A lot of people like going up onto this thing. I don't find that you actually get any good shots there, and I find it really easy to get shot, so I almost never really go up there, particularly in a non-turreted tank destroyer. So yeah, that's I would go this way. I mean, you can go south depending on what your team does, but you can't really push that south, so... Oh my god, you're going to that place. It's fine. It's all about what you make of it, I suppose. So, looks like your team is more or less split evenly. Maybe one or two more guys going south, but that's not that big of a deal. Tree just went down in front of you at about your 11:30. Lol. You don't need to, you're not gonna get lit by that. You only lit him because his camo's so bad. I'm presuming you lit him with when your binocs kicked in. Okay, so it looks like they're sending in a lot of their heavies down that way, which is pretty much to be expected. Their Panther 88 is sitting on the back over there. That's good. They're pushing in over here. That's something that you'll probably want to keep an eye on. See how your team is doing. And what you don't want to do, like, you're never really sure if those guys are going to end up coming back or what the deal is with that. You're, like, hitting the little rock wall on your left a little bit. So, yeah, you need to... Whoa. not quite that far. You can zoom out there in order to position yourself better, and then zoom back in. Probably be easier for you. Apparently, Ferdinands with binocs are OP. But you're losing this side. So they're going to start pushing in fairly soon. You still got your T-28 Proto and Tiger P there, which is fairly decent. But like the position that you're at, although you're getting some shots on these guys that are over here, that's not really changing the game because none of those guys are really punishing your team at all. No, you actually want to go over there because you want to actually try to save these guys before they all die. Your Tiger P is still at full health. Your T-29 is still at full health. Your AMX 5100 has 1,000 health. So in the position that you're at right now, you're basically saying, I want all these guys to die before I'm going to be able to do anything. And you kind of want to avoid that. Lol. And then that T-34-85 is going to die. You're not going to... Oh, I guess you sort of have a shot on that guy. There's an AMX coming up on your left. On your left! Your left! No, don't shoot that guy. Shoot the guy that's lit. Yeah, that guy. You didn't really need to move forward there to get the depression to shoot him. You could have sat back where you were at and still been able to shoot him. Okay, now let's see. You gotta try to save these guys. Your Tiger P's sort of facing the wrong direction. That's not so good. So now you don't want to push down there because now it's too late.
It's a trap!
That's fine. That's good positioning to put yourself at least a little bit of a hull down there. You're gonna lose on this backside eventually. It's something that you need to keep an eye on. They're probably not going to drive up into you. You can hit that shot on the IS-3, because remember you're actually looking to try to shoot... You can hit that shot on the T-29 as well. But you can shoot the Mohawk of the IS-3, and it'll basically auto-pen. That was a nice shot. It fell through nicely as well, but yeah. Take what you can get. Now you don't want to edge on this T-29 too much because you don't want that IS-3 to be able to get to a position where he can shoot you. Yeah, you want to keep that IS-3 pinned in there as well. I mean, but you have to keep in mind that you're going to lose the back eventually, probably. And all these guys have to do is occupy you by doing nothing. So there's a Easy 8 underneath you. It's almost better to just drive off here and get the Easy 8. Because that will free you a little bit from the position that you're in. Oh. I still think that you should probably push that Easy 8. Because your back is gone. Because all they have to do is just get on the cap over here, and it's going to make it difficult. You should look over here, take a shot from the Easy 8 to look over there, or back up and look through that side. And you gotta watch for that T-29 as well. He'll be on the right there.
It's a trap!
You can shoot through that. That's getting a little crazy all of a sudden. No, don't back up. Don't back up. T-29 is gonna shoot you. Oh, T-29 bounced. Kill that T-29 if you can. I don't know if you can. The bounces are real. Easy 8's shooting HE now. I'm surprised the HE did that much. Yeah, push around and kill. No. Push around to your left and kill the guy on the left. The T-29 is too close to... Oh, I guess you don't have to worry about T-29 anymore. Lol. You're gonna have to do something. You're gonna have to charge out there at some point.
It's a trap!
No, shoot the AMX! Oh my gosh, the T-25/2 already fired at you, so you could have shot at the AMX, but that's fine. Okay, so where do I think things went wrong? So you came up here and you got some early shots on that SU and on the whatever it was. I think it was the Easy 8 actually, and that's fine. But you know, once you get those shots and you're actually able to kill their AMX 46 down here as well, but the shots that you have from up here really didn't alter the course of the game, because the game was really won or lost right here, right in this alley right here and in this alley right here, and you didn't have a single shot into either of those alleys while the game was still a contest. And I think that was the largest problem. And then so what it ended up with was you basically against 6 tanks, which, I mean, yeah, you bounced a few and you put out a good effort. But the fact of the matter was that the game was lost down here, about 5 minutes earlier. And so that's one of those things where I think you can go up here and that's fine, but I think you also have to look at what the enemy team is doing. And you guys were starting to bleed over here. But, when I told you that you could go down there, right, your T-28 Proto had about 500 health. Your Tiger P was still at full health. You had a T-29 at full health over there. So you had a lot of tanks over there that could have used your support. And I think that might have made a difference in the game. And so if we look at the stats, certainly a very good game. I mean, you shot them fairly well. You bounced probably a little bit more than you deserve to bounce, but everybody needs to get a little bit of RNG now and then, so that's good. It would have been nice if some of your guys that were over there could have done a little bit more. This Tiger P probably could have done a little bit more. The T-29, I don't know. I felt like he was in a good position, especially without Artie. You can be hauled down on that ramp and just wreck people as they come in. But yeah, I think just be willing to relocate depending on where your team needs you. Just because you have good shots doesn't mean that those shots are necessarily going to win you the game. But nice try. GG. I don't see what your question is. It's hard for me to answer questions from chat while I'm doing the replay reviews and stuff, because normally what happens is, if I'm just playing games, I'll answer questions between rounds and I'll just scroll back and look at things. But like for a lot of these, I'm trying to give them advice on what to do, and so it takes me a little bit to go back and look through the chat again. The mods that I use are listed in the channel information with links to the individual components. Alright, so Pershing on northwest, and you have a slightly campier comp because you've got 4 tank destroyers and 2 artillery, 3 light tanks. Yeah, so normally what I'll do is I'll play through the middle over here and I'll see if they send anybody through here early. You almost never want to play this A line here in a medium. You can kind of think of it like a tank alley. It's just a lot of alleys that aren't really conducive to medium play. And you kind of want to get a sense of where their team is pushing. If they're pushing aggressively down here, you want to be able to relocate in order to catch them. That's why I usually start in the middle area here. Thanks for the resubs, Anthraxicus. Everybody always goes where I tell them not to go. So one of the things that you can do if you play this area over here, you can actually play the ramp over here to see if they send anybody down here. Like, see where your 12T is going? So if your 12T lights things through here, you can shoot them through the ramp. So they're sending their 1375 underneath, which is fine. In this case, don't go through the ramp. And then, so if you want to not get spotted, the best way to take is actually this back road right here. So there's pushing the T-20 down underneath. You're not going to get shots on him because there's like, this is basically a little cliff between you and him. And then as you pass through this gap right here, this is where you're going to get lit and potentially shot, so keep that in mind. And it depends on where they put their tanks. And if they give you a lot of territory on this one line, a good place to go is the C2 area over here. So the good news is you're being aggressive and moving. You have shots on that T-21 if you wanted it. You could probably have let that aim. You want to be a little bit careful because you can get hit by artillery where you're at, and also if they have sniper fire from up here, they can shoot you. And so you can push this T-20, not a problem, but if you do push him, push past him so that you can't get shot from the rest of their base.
It's a trap!
Or at least push over like to this area right here. Because what you're really worried about is getting hit by artillery and getting hit by like sniper fire from over there. And the same thing, like as you come around here,
It's a trap!
you don't want to stop where you're at. Especially when you're bullying a tank like a T-20, a tank that you know just has an inferior gun. Like you're gonna just bully this guy. You're not scared of getting hit by the T-20. You're scared of getting hit by that Lorraine 155-51 shell. You're scared of getting hit by, you know, one of their tank destroyers shooting you in the rear over there. And then once again, so you're in this alley here where you can get hit by artillery. If all you have to do is just move about 10-20 meters to your left, right, and push forward against that guy, and you'll be able to be in a much safer position. And that's the problem that a lot of people have with artillery, is that they don't actually try to avoid artillery as much as they say they do. They really don't. You can shoot this guy between these two things, whatever they're called. Or you can set them on fire. That's excellent as well.
Nipples.
Rad. Oh, and the artillery finally got you. That's fine, okay. Just one. Okay, you probably want to go back now. You've lost the other side. Your team's done the full collapse. Go back through the middle area here, because you're going to get lit if you come out on the side.
It's a trap!
And then same thing, back up so that only the Hellcat can shoot you. Like if you back up to right there, only the Hellcat can shoot you. Boy. Yeah, okay, well, we'll talk in a second. I always forget that I can't switch between tanks, that you have to switch between tanks in order for me to see what's going on over there, which is actually somewhat silly. I should be able to switch tanks and go over there. Yeah. He's unfortunate. Well, he's wrecking the Tiger P now. He's gonna get hit by artillery eventually, though. Well, actually, it's a little bit safe. Come on, just get it over. Do it. He shot at you. Lol. Lol. Okay, so a couple of things. One, you went this way, which I'm not much of a fan of, but you didn't puss out, right? You did a good job of actually pushing forward. They gave you a lot of this area, and you didn't wait around looking for shots that weren't going to come and doing silly things. You actually pushed all the way through, which is good. And that allowed you to get on the backside of these tanks over here. You have to... One of the biggest problems that I saw in your gameplay is that you don't play defensively at all. Your positioning isn't really defensive. There's... You sort of pick one tank that you're going to shoot at, and you sort of go and drive in a position where you can shoot that tank. A lot of times you have to decide, you have to remember that you're not just doing a 1v1 against one other tank, that he's got a bunch of buddies that are trying to shoot him, that are trying to shoot you, sorry. And so you have to play that accordingly. Like when that T-20 was over here, you know, as you came down over here, you just kind of sat here. And again, if they have guys set up over here, I'm not exactly sure where their TC9 was, why he couldn't shoot you. But if they have guys set up there, then you end up getting shot by them as well. Especially when it's a tank that you shouldn't be afraid of, like, you know, a T-20. If that was like an AMX 5100 who can clip you out, sure, you can be a little bit more conservative in terms of poking up into him. But that T-20, you could have just driven across to right here. You know, he might have shot you once or twice for damage, but you would have been completely safe from anything else. Same thing with that Hellcat at the end. When that Hellcat pushed in, all you had to do was push back, right? And it would just be you versus the Hellcat. And so think of always try to think of just beyond the 1v1 that you see in front of you. Alright, and so if we look at the stats... Yeah, unfortunately you didn't get a whole lot out of your team. You were pretty efficient with your shots, which is good, but yeah, just, again, focus on making sure that you position yourself defensively to be out of multiple lanes of fire, and that'll certainly help. I don't think your team did too poorly for that to make a difference in this game, but just in general, I think that's something that you should focus on. Okay, and since people don't really lose World of Tanks games anymore, we'll go to a victory, which should be entertaining. It's DeltaVolt's Aufkl Panther. And I actually like the Aufkl Panther once they buffed the Konish gun. It has like fantastic DPM for the tier, but it's just pew pew pew, and it eats credits like nobody's business. Alright, so let's see. Tundra, not a great light tank map. No artillery, which probably actually good for Tundra. I would push up onto this 9-line area here, and then what I generally do is I don't go too far. I just want to get free shots on their guys as they go up. I don't want to make myself a huge target, and I don't necessarily want to go up here unless I have a lot of support coming up behind me. They don't have a super fast team, but like you don't want to like get caught out there against a Bulldog and a T-37, for example. See how like your light tanks are going over this side, your medium tank is kind of languishing in the middle. You've got a few guys coming with you though. Oh my, 2801. Ramming speed. Oh. Oh, don't let him hit you with the derp. Yeah, the kind of sucky thing about the Aufkl Panther is that it doesn't turn it goes fast in a straight line, but it doesn't turn very well, and when you turn it bleeds a lot of speed. And you have to be careful here. So what I generally do is I go back over here, because you don't want to get shot through the little gap in the rocks there.
It's a trap!
Yeah, that's gonna be a tough matchup, a T-32. I would go someplace else. This is not gonna trade well there. And then be careful, like before you go out here, peek. He's just going for it. Just full on man pants it. Okay, and so if you're gonna get behind these guys, I really recommend going back. You should have gone up through there, back behind them over there. I think that's a better place because you can get counter pushed here.
It's a trap!
Oh, let's see, what is that? Oh, Roomba. Oh, alright, that might be a little bit of a pain in the ass.
It's a trap!
The Bulldog is on your side now as well.
It's a trap!
The T-34 is coming across. And you have to remember that you're going to be dropping spot, but the IS isn't. So you might not be lit right now. Push. And then see how that T-32 is crossing the path of the IS? No. That's when you kill the IS. Switch. Alright, just grab wheel. Okay, now you have to do front. Oh. Lol. Yay. Yeah, so like as that T-32 is backing across the IS, what I'll do is I'll put the reticle over the... Wow, they're both there. Look at that. What I'll do is I'll put the reticle on the T-32, and as soon as he's clear, I'll take out the IS. I'm not entirely convinced that that Bulldog can shoot you from his elevation and angle. And keep in mind, you don't have a whole lot behind you, so be careful with what you do here. Especially if he has a 15 centimeter. I wasn't paying attention to... Like, I didn't really hear that gun sound, so...
It's a trap!
Yeah, it might actually be better to go and clean up. You've got, like, these little
It's a trap!
pockets over here that you can clean up that'll probably be easier to attack through.
It's a trap!
Ouch. Good job. T-34, you don't know where he is, but he was headed east on that B line, so you gotta just make sure you don't get picked off by him. That T-28 Proto is still vulnerable. If you go to the railroad pass thing, yeah, this thing here, you should be able to shoot the T-28 Proto. No, back. You can shoot him from back there, I think.
It's a trap!
Pretty sure. Yeah. This is a little bit risky. But, alright. He doesn't have a full turret. He doesn't, so you just need to get behind him and then you're fine. And then just don't let him turn, yeah. Good job. And then I think their T-34 was... Oh, I guess he's still relatively full health. I wanted to say that he was at least half, but... Oh, well. Yeah, and so you play this side of the railroad track because there's basically a ridge there that you can duck down behind.
It's a trap!
Lols. GG. Yeah, wait till your spot drops. I still think that the T-34 is going to be over on that east side of the ridge someplace, so I think the west side of the ridge is safe. Oh man. Oh, this is going to be great. No, so if you go all the way back over here, you'll probably get better shots. Because you don't want to try to cresting a ridge in a tank like this. Super Hella Pro T-34s. And then be careful because you're going to about to cross into the Roomba. He just fired. Yay! So yeah, I mean, you did a good job there. The only thing that I would say is that you did not need to charge across that bridge to shoot that T-28 prototype. You could have just sat right there and just railed them from that distance. Let's see. Yeah, this play right here is also a little bit risky. I'm kind of surprised that they didn't either push down from you on top, which would have killed you instantly, or actually had like that IS just come down and drive there, which would have, you probably would have killed him, but that would have cost you a lot of health. So that was a little bit risky play. I think you get a few shots on like that IS and then just bail and go someplace else, because you know that there's at least one Roomba, and I think it was the Bulldog that was up there. Maybe it was a T-37. It was one of those light tanks was up there with the Roombas, and we didn't know that the second Roomba was back there until a little bit later. And so if we look at the fabulous stats, oh my, 4,400 45 shots to do 4,500 damage. That's like Kobe Bryant efficiency, shooting efficiency. But got the job done. And that's the thing, it's like if you fire a lot of the APCRs out of the Konish, it really burns through credits quickly, but it's really fun. It reminds me of the old 3601. Anyhow, GG.
It's a trap!
Yeah, I mean, we'll do wins. I prefer if they're close. I mean, if it's just you steamrolling the team, it's usually difficult to point out teachable moments in that. But yeah, otherwise, I'm not against wins. I just this isn't supposed to be a bragging session. It's just a session where we want to look at and work on specific things. And that's why I also, I try not to just accept good players, players with good win rate. I mean, I think a lot of what you can learn from these replays is, like with the Pershing on Northwest, it's like defensive positioning and things like that maybe a Unicum will do in order to minimize how much fire they're taking. A lot of people don't actually do that, and without seeing it and pointing it out, it's sometimes difficult to go, oh yeah, You know, I see when I look at it now, I'm sitting there and three different tanks are shooting at me. But if I moved, 20 meters over here, it would just be the one tank that I'm shooting at. What shell layout would I? So the shells with the RU-251 it's like the most confusing thing in the game to me because each of the shells travels at a different speed. The AP shells are a little bit slower than what you might expect from the standard AP. The heat shells are faster by I think it was about 10 to 20% than the AP shells, and then the HE shells are slower, and then so it's if you switch between shells and you're trying to fire at a distance, it's really disorienting.